classic craft beer, we can do this.
What's good, y'all? This is C-Certified Brewhead, and welcome to another episode of BML here on BAOS. This evening, we got some joints from Colorado. Huge shouts to the guys at Odell Brewing. We got to have a fantastic podcast with them. Shouts to Kristen and to Kevin Buzzley, who we interviewed for the podcast. He was hilarious. He understood YouTube in a way that we'd never really had before, and it was fantastic. He was fun to chat to. So Kristen was lovely. Bless us with this Milkshake IPA t-shirt. Hashtag Team Lactose. Go follow at Team Lactose on Twitter. You know what it is. Shouts to Nate. So we have 6 of their beers. Some of these are specialty beers. Some of these are their standard range. So the first one is the 90 Shilling Ale, like an English style ale. This bad boy is the Drumroll American Pale Ale. We have the Rupture Fresh Grind Ale. I'm going to tell you guys about what they did for that, which is fascinating. We have the Cloudcatcher Milkshake IPA. Hashtag Team Lactose. You know what it is. The India Pale Ale, just straight up IPA. And the only one here I haven't had, which is the Mercenary Double IPA, the big boy. So we have a lot of drinking tonight. So, Odell are one of the older breweries, or oldest breweries in Colorado. They're based in Fort Collins, which, I'm going to be real, is one of our favorite cities out there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Huge facility that has just grown bit by bit over the years. Yeah, man, they've really been like, based on the type of stuff they do, it's interesting. I feel like because they're such an older brewery, they have typically been, I guess, more of a gateway type of brewery. Like, I wore this t-shirt into, we just come from Fort Collins, we went to Denver. And I went to a cafe in the hipster area. I forgot what it was called, Highlands, I think. And because you know how we do, we got to go get the fire coffee wherever we go. And she was like, she saw the t-shirt. Oh, that's my favorite beer. I drink that all the time. So I feel like they're hitting that newer sort of craft beer nerd market, but with beers like this, which I believe is one of their first beers. They're a gateway brewery. This is really, they've provided an avenue for beer drinkers from the 90s. I think they just celebrated their 23rd. Unless it was Scar, I'm thinking of it was 23.
Founded in 1989.
What? So that's crazy. They've been around for 30 years, guys. I mean, that's insane. So I guess they're one of the oldest breweries. I think Wine Coop, whatever they're called, are the oldest brewery in Colorado. So they're like right up there. So this beer is a 90 Shilling. It's an English style ale. Somewhat like a Kelly Common from memory. We did have this during the podcast. What's the ABV? Can't find it. 5.3. I like American beers don't actually have to have the ABV on there, which is so strange. But get in here. Nice, solid. Malty nose. It's like a Cali Common style beer, like a steam, Anchor Steam like type of beer. Crushable. Non-offensive, easy drinking, a little creamy, a little sweet. Does the trick, right? That isn't my favorite style of beer, but for that kind, I guess for that kind of beer, like, it goes down so well. You could drink a bunch of them, and yeah, I'm not mad about drinking this. You know, I do quite like Cali Commons, I guess. I'm not sure if that is exactly the style. All right, next up, drum roll. APA, American Pale Ale. Let me get this one down here. So I actually had this. I had most of these out of the can during the podcast, but I had this one on draft with Kristen afterwards. Tiff Kristen and I went for a wonder to get some B-roll, and she linked Mans. Yeah, this is a 5.3 again. It's a great number there. American Pale Ale. To tell you with the types, nope, just hop forward. That's kind of it. So, slightly opaque, as you can tell there. Definitely got a nice fruity nose. Get it in ya. Yeah, this is good. I remember enjoying this one quite a lot, actually. I mean, I guess we'd had a few beers at that point, but super crushable. Fruity, mildly bitter, a little bit dank, a little bit piney. Creamy. Yeah, man. This is really good. Kind of halfway between, it's like a chill West Coast Pale Ale, I guess, if you want to look at it like that. Yeah, not overly intense, but super easy drinking. Goes down well. It's a good starter. I dig it. Let's move on. Rupture. Their fresh grind ale. This one is a really interesting beer. So during the podcast, I'm not sure if we even had some B-roll, I guess, from the vlog/podcast there, but they made this machine, like they actually like put it together. And basically what it does, it takes fresh hops and it grinds it into a powder. So it doesn't like separate it and take the lupulin powder from there or the hop hash or whatever, but it actually grinds the entire hop into a straight up powder. I've never seen anything like that before. And then they add that, they literally take it straight from this thing and pop it right in the kettle or in the fermenter, which is super cool. So that's what this is. And I think it's mainly for this time of year, but they're able to do it anytime. I guess any time of year they'd have to have pallet hops, which they will grind. But it's just such a cool concept because they actually made the machine just to do this. And it gives it a little bit, like just a different, unique texture. I wonder if it says anything on the can about it, actually, because I might not be explaining it right. They built a machine in the brewery to make a fresh grind process. I mean, it reminds me of coffee a little bit, the whole fresh grind thing. It says, by grinding the whole hop, we rupture the lupulin inside, releasing the oil that gives the beer its flavor. And what we grind that day, we use that day. So it's fresh, aromatic, with a bright hoppy character. And I thought this was fascinating. I've never seen anything like it. Yeah, definitely got a bright nose on there. Slightly opaque. Get it in ya. Fantastic. So it's kind of like almost a brighter version of the American Pale Ale right there. So 6%, slightly boozier. A little bit dank and bitter as well. Because it still has the chlorophyll from the hop. So it hasn't just extracted the lupulin powder, so it's got the fruitiness and all the those type of characters. It gets it all, and you notice the difference when people use like if you're just using lupulin in a beer or versus the whole hop. This is really, really cool. It's different to most fresh hop. I mean, it's fresh grind ale. It's not a fresh hop or wet hop ale, so it's a little bit different, but it just has like it's like bright, like the can said, like it's like a brighter character that doesn't always come with those type of beers, just because there's usually, you're taking these hops off the vine and you're just slapping them right in the fermenter right there, and that gives it a unique flavor profile. But because these are ground, it's just interesting. You need to try this stuff. Very, very solid. All right, the one we've been waiting for. Milkshake. How you feel? Hashtag Team Lactose. As you guys know, we are passionately Team Lactose. I support lactose use in beer at all times. Now, look, that doesn't mean that people do it perfectly all the time. But basically, in the Odell Brewery, they have a pilot system where bar staff, and all other staff in the brewery are encouraged to actually pair with a brewer and brew their own beer. And I think that is fantastic. So this was a beer that started on the pilot system and ended up in cans. They actually had another beer that we drank during the podcast. It was a Tomatillo Sour, which is the weirdest concept ever. Tomatillo, little green, like, savory things used in Mexican food. And it was fantastic. I was so surprised how good it was. So this was one of the beers that started like that, and ended up in cans. I'm trying to see if it says it's a hazy, smooth Milkshake IPA, hop forward, notes of creamsicle and peach, citrus-like burst, velvety texture. Mate, say less. 6.8%. It absolutely has that hazy appearance. Kind of that lactosey icing sugar nose. Shouts to Noah Forrest. I took that from you, you know. Get in ya. It's kind of meta. I enjoy wearing the t-shirt. I've never actually had a t-shirt of a beer. Yeah, right. I always get like the brew. When she was like, hey, grab a t-shirt, I was looking around, the logo t-shirts were dope, but then I saw the milkshake one and I thought it would piss people off more than anything, particularly the Team No Lactose people. Shouts to Noah and Chris. I just really wanted to do it for that. I thought it was worth it. I feel extra proud right now. I need like a nice pick with this t-shirt. This is fantastic. I really enjoyed drinking this. I wasn't sure because like Odell seem a more traditional brewery in the sense of they do some experimental stuff, but at the end of the day, they started from traditional backgrounds. They started in 1989, with English style ales, and even though their American Pale Ale is very interesting, and they're doing this sick fresh grind ale, which literally never seen anything like it. I can see that they're a little bit more of a traditional style brewery. So I was really happy to see them do a Milkshake IPA and do it well. Yeah, the lactose, so good. I really like that flavor. Like, I guess I understand why people don't, but I really like that icing sugary flavor. Smooth, creamy. I don't know if it's got vanilla, but I feel like maybe I'm just tasting it because most milkshakes have vanilla. It doesn't say. I have to keep that can just to let people know what's up. You know how it goes, Tiffany. Wow, we do. That's fantastic. Just a real solid milkshake IPA, and I feel like it's a great, because there's a brewery like Odell who, like I said, I probably approached more like a gateway brewery. They'll give people the opportunity to try a beer like this who maybe normally wouldn't get the opportunity, and I think that's really cool. Fantastic. The IPA. So this bad boy, 7%, American style IPA, whole flower hops, American hops, bright citrus. We drank this from the podcast as well. I don't remember what it was like, so let's find out. Because you know what? Sometimes those things are a blur. You're talking to a bunch of people and you're drinking so many great beers and you just don't remember everything. And as well, we did Odell. It wasn't optimal at all. I think we got there for 9:30 a.m. By the time we went for a tour and met everybody, we probably started 10:30. Which is, if anyone knows Tiff and I, it's not our regular operating times. IPA, 7%. Nice and clear. Slightly opaque, I guess, at best. Bit of a malty nose there. Get it in ya. Alright, American style IPA. Kind of like a grown-up version of the drum roll pale ale. A little bit bitter, dank and piney, but not crazily so. Bright. This is great. Solid American IPA. Malt forward and sweet, piney, hop forward as well, but balanced. So like it's not overly, because I don't personally like it when they're too malty. If it's too hoppy, I guess I don't mind, but it's not like the malty sweetness. That definitely does not have that. And I'm very curious about this one. So this is, like I said, the only one I haven't had. 9.3%. Oh gosh, lucky it's Saturday, Tiffany. Blend of hops, the highest levels of myrcene, a component of essential oils in the hop flower, hence mercenary. Tropical fruit-like flavor, pungent floral, and clean getaway. I like that, clean getaway. I've been somewhat curious now because of the brewed IPAs with the clean, sharp dryness, the New Englands with the juicy fruitiness. Like, I want to punch in the palate. I want my palate to be punched by pungent ass hops. I haven't had much like that. God knows how long. I don't even know if people are making beers that are hop bombs like that no more. But I remember, starting off the beer thing and really wanting that. Really is all I wanted. And the thing was, in Canada, nobody makes that. And I can't even think of anyone who really does now. Nobody made that type of stuff. So it was only when my friends came out from the States, back when I was a immigrant dealing with my issues. Now I'm Canadian, represent, but I can go down south and get what I need to. But I had to wait till people brought me stuff because Canada wasn't really doing that. So this might be that. So what did I say? 9.3%. Looks slightly opaque. Unless this is a bit of chill haze, but these have been out of the fridge for a little bit. Well, get it in ya. Hey, that's really smooth for 9.3. Oh god, this is gonna smash us tonight. This is really smooth. Oh my gosh. It's kind of like a slightly ramped up version of the IPA. Not overly obvious though, for better or worse. For worse, because you won't realize you're drinking 9.3%. And you'd be on the floor after a couple of these. Man, that's intense. But it's not like a palate punching hop bomb. It's just super smooth, definitely dank and piney, malty sweetness as well. It's kind of like I said, just a ramped up version of the IPA there. Super clean, and for a 9.3, like, for not being able to taste the booze is like, mate, it's amazing. So yeah, huge shouts to the guys at Odell. Fantastic beers across the board. Really enjoyed everything about them. They were all really, really great people, everyone we met there. The brewery was gorgeous and super cool. Yeah, and I was just impressed with the beers, and I think there's definitely one of those like OGs you have to salute. Like, being around since '89 is just, amazing. Huge. It's to keep a business going for nearly 30 years in an industry that's just sort of like a roller coaster, like craft beer, is just incredible. So very, very cool. And to keep moving with the times, producing beers like a Milkshake IPA, and even doing super creative stuff like the fresh grind, and building their own equipment that one of a kind to do something is just astounding to me, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, man. Check them out if you're ever in Fort Collins, and you should, dead ass. Tiffany will confirm that Fort Collins was just such. We went to some great cities in Colorado. I would say that we didn't spend much time in Denver, but Fort Collins was just so good. I think it's the beer capital, I believe, of Colorado. They have some of the bigger breweries out there, like New Belgium and stuff like that. Everything, and I think was Oscar Blues out there? Oh, fuck, edit that out. I can't remember. But yeah, it was just such a dope.
Oscar Blues, I think, is in
Boulder.
Yeah,
and I think Left Hand was too, because it was on the way. I remember I had to divert out. It looked like it was an easy diversion, but it probably wasn't, particularly with our timelines and stuff. But yeah, Fort Collins, amazing place, just super beautiful, great people, great coffee, great food, great wine, great beer, great spirits. Everything was lit. So definitely, if you get an opportunity, go check out the Odell Brewery. They do tours and stuff as well. And the beers are lit. So guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, bam, smash the thumbs up, hit subscribe below, hit the notification bell.
Bong.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a RZA. That's a RZA one.
Is it?
Yeah, bong bong, bong bong. Shouts to, if you know RZA, shouts to all the hip hop heads out here. Probably not that many watching this, unfortunately, but you know what I'm saying. If you know Wu-Tang, you know what's up. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast. So check out the long form audio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your talking media. Check that out. Guys, that is it. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video. And as always, get in ya!